Okay, here we are at Fritchie Field, and it's no longer called Fritchie Field. When the Army had it, they had helicopters stationed here at Fort Ord, and now it's belongs to Marina, the city of Marina. Seaside is on the other side. We're on the north side of Fritchie, of the old Army base, Fort Ord, and on the south side, on the Monterey side, it's Seaside over there that has. So they kind of split it up. The state got some. The state has their college here. I think some of the UC colleges have facilities here for one thing or the other. I don't know whether there's any instruction. But the State College, the Cal State of the Monterey Bay is definitely here, and it's quite a campus. So here we go. I just don't know how Fritchie got its name. I kind of think the general was out here riding his horse around looking for a place to put the airport. The horse kicked him off into a mud puddle, and he said, "Oh, Fritchie," and that's what they called it, Fritchie. So we are recording, and I'll click that off. We're going to set up for an instrument flight here. We're going to go to Monterey on instruments. It's that time of the year when a little bit of instrument flying in California. We have 9 months of beautiful weather, and then 3 months of stormy, rainy. We get our annual rainfall of about 18 inches, and we need the rain. So today, it actually rained a little bit today and yesterday. So I decided it's time to take an instrument flight in the rain, and I'll kick in the rain in a second. So let's set up the autopilot so you can see what happens here. I'm over here on the altitude selector, and I'm kicking it up to 2,600 feet. I'll show you on the left screen where I put in 2,600 with the cursor. Right here is 2,600 feet. And then I put the vertical speed at 2,000 feet a minute is what we want to climb to get to there. And that's right below that 2,600. You'll see 2,600 and it'll say 2,000 there. And that's what this little gadget did. Then I'm going to say navigate. Click that one so that little light comes on, and that holds us on this course, which is an RNAV approach. So it's GPS, which follows this little red line course in a little arc out in the middle of Monterey Bay, and it'll come around for a approach to the east on runway 10 right. There's now 2 little airports there, so we'll land on the main runway, and that field is at about 260 feet. So we hope to break out and see it about 200 feet over it at the middle marker, which is a half mile off the end of the runway. We'll get an indication on here. We'll see the outer marker. We'll see an O right about there, and the middle marker, we'll hear it. We'll hear both of them. A little beeping sound, code sound. And now we're set up on the autopilot. We're now just have to come up on the power and get this thing going. Right after I stick in the rainy weather, we're going to change this to rain, and we're going to bring the clouds down to bring them down low here, and the coverage 100%. We want the bottoms of the clouds down to maybe 500, 200, 300 feet. Let's get it here. There we go. We could have it down to the ground. Yeah, there it is, 255. That's perfect. We should break out right at the minimums. And that's above 255 above the ground level. And this is above sea level. So we'll bring this down to about 11,622. And it's raining like cats and dogs. So let's take the wind out of it. Delete that layer. And that didn't change the weather. So here we go. Full power. Brakes are off. Monterey is where I got my instrument rating. Back in the 1965. Let's see if we can cut them off here. Here we go. Wheels up. Flaps up. We'll hit the autopilot. Hands off. I'm hands-free. We don't need this anymore. There's a little airplane flying out. Let's see if we see him on our screen. I don't see him out here. That's funny. I haven't seen that. We should see a little airplane on the screen. That's interesting. Okay, we're climbing 1,500 feet. We're right on course. We'll get back outside. Look at that. That's amazing. We shouldn't really, in this fog, be able to. That's not on our screen. We shouldn't be able to see it. Okay, so we need to bring back the prop just slightly. That'll get that. And then we kick in our yaw dampener. That'll turn up that other flashing yellow. And the internal separator, that's the intake. I still have the rudder creep, so I have to click the autopilot on and off to get it to the level at 2,600. We'll call departure. Call it NorCal approach. So we'll call NorCal approach.
NorCal approach Doppler Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra Alpha is at 2,600 feet, descending 1,000 feet.
No, we're not.
Doppler Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra Alpha NorCal approach continuous planned. Altimeter 29.902.
And he'll give us 2,600
Doppler Golf
right away.
Sierra
Here
Alpha
we go.
descend and maintain 2,600 feet.
So we're not moving. We're just going to stay at 2,600. Everything looks good here. We've got our prop and our throttle at highest setting, so we should get kicking along
Doppler
here.
Golf Sierra Alpha, did you copy?
Yeah, we're already there. So I'll
Descend and
acknowledge.
maintain 2,600 feet, Doppler Golf Sierra Alpha.
And one of these times I've been searching for what's causing the rudder creep. Possibly it's just in the program. They've given them a little flack, Microsoft, for being.
NorCal departure generic November 605 Romeo Mike is at 800 feet, climbing 8,000 feet.
For
Generic November 605 Romeo Mike NorCal departure continuous planned. Altimeter 29.902. Generic 5 Romeo Mike, you are 4 miles south. Maintain present heading and altitude, expect vectors visual runway 13 approach.
So they have gotten a little flack from the pilots that have gotten the program for playing into the hands of the gamer type
Maintain
people.
present heading and altitude, expect vectors, visual runway 13 approach, generic 5 Romeo Mike.
who probably don't notice rudder creep. Don't worry about it. They don't know.
Delta Golf Sierra Alpha, you are 15 miles northwest. Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect RNAV runway 10 right approach by a ZEP 8 transition. Clear to ZEP 8.
Okay, I have to acknowledge that. Oh, he's
Delta Golf
coming
Sierra
right
Alpha,
back,
you are 15 miles
telling me
northwest
to
of
go
Monterey.
to the tower.
Contact Monterey Tower on 118.4 inbound on the approach.
All right. So,
Tower on 118.4 Dahmer Golf Sierra Alpha.
so on this next click, when we're heading south, our approach is going to be eastbound. There we go. So I can come back a little bit on the power, start slowing down. The approach will be probably around 80 knots. So I'll have to slow down to put the wheels down and so forth. We'll call the tower in a minute. Another thing is on the initial approach, intersecting the glide slope, we need to be at about 1,800 feet. So I'll bring the altitude down to 1,800 feet. Let's call Monterey Tower, and then I'll set the vertical speed at 1,000 feet a minute.
Tower Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra Alpha 13 miles northwest inbound RNAV runway 10 right approach.
Delta Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra Alpha Monterey Tower. Cleared RNAV runway 10 right approach. Altimeter 29.902 with com.
Okay, acknowledge that. So now,
Cleared RNAV runway 10 right approach Dahmer Golf Sierra Alpha.
so now we're coming down at 1,000 feet a minute. So that's set right there, 1,000 feet a minute, coming down to 1,800 feet. And now we can click on the approach button, so it follows the approach and locks on to the, they call it coupling, I think. They used to call it coupling, but that's a long time ago when I was coupling things. Frankly, I didn't have the equipment to couple many things. Airliners have had it for years. This is pretty much set up like an airliner. And it's really fun for an old pilot like me to experience. So now I'm going to come back on the power so we get down to approach speed. And we're coming down to 1,800 feet. I have it on approach. The autopilot is still on. I can click that off and on just a minute just to stabilize. I mean, get it flying straight. And
Monterey Tower, generic X-ray, Lima Juliet, 4111 miles southeast inbound, localizer runway 28 left approach.
so at 150,
Generic X-ray Lima Juliet 41 Monterey Tower.
we'll drop
Cleared
the
localizer runway
wheels.
28 left approach. Altimeter
Create a little drag.
29.902 with com.
And a notch of flap.
Delta
And,
Golf Sierra Alpha. Clear to land runway 10 right. With
and
com.
there's the outer marker, beeping.
Cleared localizer runway 28 left approach, generic Juliet 41.
So we
Clear to
got
land
a
runway
notch of
10 right,
flap.
Dahmer Golf
Now we'll
Sierra
bring in
Alpha.
the other flap. We'll bring the speed. Let's see how we're doing on the glide slope. Yeah, it's right about in there. The little diamond, magenta diamond, is our glide slope. We're just slightly high, but we're slowed down. We're now down to the 70s. I have to bring the power up to maintain the speed. That should be good. Looking good. Just the
Generic Juliet.
set
41 clear to land runway 28 left.
the rudder
com.
creep. I just clicked the autopilot on and off to eliminate any
Clear
too
to
much
land
right
runway
rudder.
28 left generic Juliet 41.
So we're a little high, but that's all right. We're okay. We're just coming over downtown Monterey, and we're over the Fisherman's Wharf. There's a little horseshoe lake which is close to my house, and this ILS system goes right past my house. My house is just a little bit to the right. It's right between this little diamond and this lake, this part of the horseshoe. So my house is right about right in there. I see the airplanes on approach, and I always estimate they're at about 1,000 feet when they go by, but look at where we are. We're at 800 feet, so they're below 1,000. They're about 800 feet when they go by my house. Now I'm not paying attention, so let's see. Oh, okay. I see that airplane's still in front of us. That's a glitch. But we will see the strobe lights when we get down to about 200 feet over the runway, and it looks like it'll be slightly off to the left from this presentation here. There's the middle marker. So normally if you don't see the lights at the middle marker, you have to do a missed approach, but there they come right now. And we're still at 78 miles an hour. I still am hands off on this, and we'll just go ahead and let it land itself. I'll just pull back very, very slightly. There we go. Power down. Reversers. Oop, oop, oop. When I looked over for the reversers, I didn't see that it got off to the right. Oop, oop, oop. Whoa, look at that. There's the reason. Wow. He said he told him to go for him to go around. Normally they tell me to go around. Wow.
Did you hear my last transmission?
That was fun. Wow, with that, I'd have to go to the men's room, or I'd definitely be going someplace if I saw an airliner coming at me like that out of the fog. Let's see how we're lined up. Okay, there's that.
Charter Golf, Sierra Alpha. Did you hear my last transmission?
Okay, we'll answer. Yes. Want me to call ground? Okay.
120.875 Charter Golf Sierra
Well, we
Alpha.
survived, and that's an instrument approach down to minimums. And if it was a real approach in a real airplane, I would have been coming up on the power when that beeper sounded, that little code sound, when we got down to about 400 feet. That was my minimums. 250 feet, so right at about 500 feet. We were just under 500 feet when the runway lights and the approach strobe lights came into view. And seeing that little that rotating beacon of that other plane, I've never seen that before, and of course I've never broken out and gotten on the runway. The reversers, my throttle quadrant doesn't pull on the reversers. I need to set that up, I think. But I still have to go to my keyboard and push function 2 to get the thrust reversers to work. And when I did that, normally the airplane tracks straight. But I did have the autopilot on, and possibly that was fishing around, causing it to veer off the runway. But it's still, I think it makes a good little YouTube. Just maybe what not to do on an instrument approach when you're landing. Don't take your eyes off the runway. And I'll try to put my reverser on the throttle, so it has a little detent when you pull pull about an extra ½ inch from the zero thrust. It goes into a detent there, and that probably is the reverser. I hope I can set that up. Okay, enough of that, and I'll talk to you guys sometime. Hope you enjoy it. Bye.